Hello, welcome to episode 8 of our Digging Comics podcast. I'm your host, Spencer.
Hey, sidekick, Mr. Matt here. How we doing, buddy?
Yeah, a trusty sidekick, that's for sure. I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, doing really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice cold day here in Michigan, man.
Yeah, well, it's cold down here too in South Carolina. I mean, it's unusually cold. I mean,
They're talking negative 25 coming up on Tuesday, so we're
yeah,
wet
whatever
still.
that cold snap that you guys got, it's got us too. I
Yep.
mean, we're down in the 20s, high 20s. I mean, during the day, it's I think getting into the 30s, but it's still pretty chilly.
Definitely
But
makes me
anyway,
want to come down to the basement and work on books.
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's a good time of the year for that.
Yeah,
Um, I'm gonna get that timer started so we know if we're not going over or not.
there you go.
Okay, well, episode 8 here, and I guess I'll go first. I'm gonna show a bunch of books that I kind of
Yeah,
dug over the last, been a couple weeks since we've been on. And I mean, as usual, you can't show everything you get because my appetite's pretty voracious. But other
yeah.
than that,
Well, you had that guy you're working for got that collection in, right? From
yeah,
went
you
down to
did. We got a
Florida and
collection in, and it's
picked up some
okay.
books.
As usual, it's a lot of mid-grade stuff, and
Yeah,
there
you
was
got some.
some good horror titles. In fact, one of them I'm going to show
Yeah, it's a nice
right
book. I
here.
can't wait.
I'm going to switch my camera here,
Yeah, flip it over.
and Monsters on the Prowl and Where Monsters Dwell. Now, these are both reprint issues. Marvel back in the 70s, they decided to reprint a lot of. Most of these come from like Tales to Astonish,
Yeah, they're
superhero stuff.
cool artwork though. Great
Dang,
artwork.
there goes my stupid.
We never knew they were reprints as kids too, you know.
Exactly. Well, I didn't even pay attention to them on the racks because I was too busy buying Spider-Man and Captain America and Thor and all that kind of stuff. And to be perfectly honest, I think at that age, when I was like 7 or 8, they were kind of scary to me.
Right.
It's like, it wasn't something I was really into. But this one right here, I'm really proud of, this Monsters on the Prowl, because I dug it out of I think he had it in $1 or maybe a $2 box, and it was perfectly fine, except it had some spine roll right here. And I took it home and I pressed it, but when I pressed it, it kept the same spot or
Converted
whatever,
back.
the roll. And
Yeah,
so
just
I
rolled
kind of
back.
hand worked it a little bit with
Yep.
some boards and stuff, and then I
Put the board inside it and pull it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then I put some those aluminum plates that I use for pressing. I put those on top of it and just let it sit. And I tell you what, I put it in this bag, and I'm really pleased with it. I mean, it's
Yeah, it looks great. It presents well.
looking
Can you
good.
hold it up to the camera a little bit?
Yeah,
Hold that spine up. Just like
yeah.
to see
A little. Oh, where are we here?
it.
Yeah, but
Oh yeah.
you can see that spine is pretty
Oh
good.
yeah. No, it
For
looks
that age of a
great.
book. I
Yep.
mean, the staples are there's a little bit of roughness
Yeah.
around the
Kind of
staples, but
breakthrough. Hmm.
overall, it's got
That's
good
clean
color
book.
gloss, and I'm very happy with it. Second
That's
one here is a little bit more of a, I guess, quote collector's. That's issue 29. This is
right.
issue number 1 of Where Monsters Dwell.
Is that a square
Again,
bound
what's
or
that?
no? That's not square bound, is it?
No, it's a regular book. And the same thing with this one. But this one I didn't do much to. I think I paid $10 for it.
Oh
It's got
wow, that's a great deal.
exactly. It's got a crease there on the right. But other
Yeah.
than that, it's in pretty good shape. A little bit of, up at the top there, a little bit of a crustiness
Yep.
or whatever you
A
want to
little
call
ripple
it.
on it.
And, but overall, pretty good issue. So,
Nice
I
pulls,
took,
man. Those are nice.
yeah. And then I got,
Fun stuff.
King Conan, just to fill in a run,
Yep.
nothing special.
Artwork's great in those though. The colors. I know it's 80s, but that red always stood out to me in the 80s.
Right. And Buscema did a lot of those covers and the interior artwork and everything. And so, I think I got 1 through 19 because it becomes Conan the King with issue 21, I think.
King
It's the same
Conan.
run, but
That
it's
that
Marvel
run
in there.
is so underrated, and still so
Right.
inexpensive. I can't believe that.
Yeah, New Mutants number 96. I picked that up, or no, 86. I'm sorry. It's actually it's got something in it that makes it a little more, like more than a $5 book. It's about
Sure.
a $7 book or so.
Well, that's your favorite. Isn't that your favorite villain?
Oh, the Vulture.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like the Vulture. In
he's your
fact,
boy.
back in the day when he was Spider-Man's enemy or whatever.
Right.
But I'm working on that run too. That's even 100 issues, and I'd say I got about 20 of those to go.
Yeah, I got a couple of them for you. I thought I had more, but I didn't have as many as I thought.
Oh yeah, well, I'm getting there. There's now I've finished that Conan run, Conan the Barbarian,
Yep.
and I only went through issue 100 with that because anything after 100, it's kind of like okay. I mean, and so I decided, what the heck, I might as well go back and get the Dark Horse, the Conan series that Kurt Busiek did, and it's actually more faithful to the Conan stories than the original Conan the Barbarian.
What years did that Dark Horse run? Do you know?
I'm gonna say that was about 98, maybe 2000,
Oh,
maybe 2005.
okay.
It was right on that, you know, cusp of the 21st century. So I picked up a few of those and just kind of some fillers. I mean, they're $2 books, $3 books.
Were these all from the shop or from your shop, or did you
These are
go?
all basically from the
Yeah.
shop that he had.
Okay.
I'm like, he had a bunch of them, but
That's
I only got
awesome.
the ones that I needed. And then Hellblazers, my other, probably besides Conan, it's probably my biggest selection thing or whatever you want to call it. And I am going for the whole run of the first Constantine Hellblazers. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like 300 issues. And we've been talking a lot about how at the end of a run, how the issues get more
Well, yep.
expensive because the print
We'll
run goes
talk more
down.
about that today, but yeah, the low print run.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're
So I
running
picked up a
into
few of
that.
those, and they're nothing, like I said, they got some good covers,
Yeah.
some of them. My camera's a little janky here because I think as I brought it up, but
You're fine.
yeah, no big deal.
We can see them.
But some of these issues, the last good writer of Hellblazer before they ended the series was a guy named Mike Carey. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he was a good writer, and he had a nice little run along with Garth Ennis and Jaime Delano. Those are the three uh, big workers of Hellblazer. And then they had some
What number what that number do they end with? What you end like
300.
300 and what around what year? 2000 something?
That's a good question. I'm going to say it has to be probably, I think it's about 2010.
10? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they finally got to where, and there's some good miniseries
Well, it started in
out the
2000
last couple of years.
started in 88, right? If
Yeah.
I recall, I believe it's
Yeah, right around the time that Sandman and Hellblazer and all
Yeah.
that stuff came out. It was, the Vertigo imprint.
Do you have the first appearance of Constantine in isn't it Swamp Thing?
No, I don't. At one
Oh.
time I did, but unfortunately I sold it like a
We
dinghy.
we gotta
But,
find that. We're gonna find that issue for you, man. We're gonna get that comic back in your.
It's pricey. It's like $300.
Ah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's not an easy. Well, they're coming out with a fax of it. In fact,
Oh,
this week they're
okay.
coming out. It's Saga of the
Oh, that's
Swamp Thing
weird.
number 37.
Yeah.
I do have Hellblazer number 1, and I've got the complete run up until about two. There's some 200s that I'm missing, but yeah, some of these
Yeah.
covers are really good. Brian Azzarello, he wrote 100 Bullets. He took on Hellblazer for a little while. He's a pretty good writer, but
Looks
I think
like Flea from.
what's
Doesn't
that?
he kind of look like Flea there?
Oh yeah. Well,
Watch
the
it over.
inspiration for Hellblazer was Sting, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was Alan Moore's inspiration. Was his look was the rock star Sting, and so yeah, there's some Hellblazers, and
Oh, you did good for.
yeah, well, for filling in some
Yeah.
runs, which I really been concentrating on the last few, I'd say a couple months or so.
Sure.
I really been so. There's my digs for the
Nice.
last
I like
say
it, man.
month or so.
Yeah.
Okay, your turn,
So-
buddy.
Well, that's right.
What you got?
Well, last weekend, Dennis and I went out to Lang's, and he had a 50 cents. So all his dollar boxes were 50 cents, and then he had a bunch of price books that were half off.
Nice.
So we spent better part of like 4 or 5 hours digging, found some pretty good stuff. So if anybody's ever been to Lang's, he's bought the Bed Bath, or not bought, but they're now moving to the Bed Bath & Beyond, and they're going to have like 150 long boxes of like bronze and silver. It's going to be a pretty cool. He's trying to be like a destination
It's March 1st,
I
right?
feel like a destination comic place, and it's going to be awesome. It is.
Yeah,
We
I'm gonna
kind of
try to
caught
make it
a
up for
peek.
that.
We went down to the food court and we caught a peek in there, and uh, I mean, it's still, in the early stages of becoming a comic shop, but it's going to be pretty cool. So March 1st is going to be their grand opening. Here I am promoting, eggs, but
Cool. I got
uh,
that date on my
he's trying to
calendar.
blow. Yeah, he's trying to blow out. You know what I mean? A lot of his other books because he has so
Right.
much, and so. But yeah, so this is the stuff that I pulled. Let me get I pulled from there. Um, so
Well, good old Star
these
Wars.
were all 50, these were here were 50 centers. This is kind of the collector's edition, pretty fun magazine. You know me, I'm a huge Star Wars guy,
Right, right.
and I like these
Exactly.
magazines. These are like normally like 12, $10 a piece or something. So out of a 50
Wow.
cent bin. This is a
Ah, Beavis and
sealed.
Butthead.
I know this one's sealed. It has like 8 cards with it.
Wow.
I assume it's from the 90s. I haven't really looked that. Oh yeah, 1994. But
Good old wizard.
yeah, a lot of these were actually bagged and boarded. Nice little Mace Windu.
Well, yeah.
Uh,
Oh, that's a sweet cover.
Dennis found this one. I don't know if it's worth anything or not, but it's a cool homage cover.
Is that fairly
I
new?
started picking up some of these. What's that? This one?
Yeah, that X-Men.
Yeah, 2000. Yeah, 2020, 20 maybe,
Wow.
something like that.
Okay.
Pretty cool cover.
That is.
I picked these up for my booth just for the spinner rack for the kids. You know what I mean? To put some of that stuff on there.
Oh, yeah. Cover all the bases, baby.
Yeah. And then I like I mean, for 50 cents, and these things are near mint bagged and
Yes.
boarded. They're pretty nice books. Nice little 20-cent Sergeant Rock. This one I
Oh,
did
that's
bag.
nice. Hold that
Yeah.
up a little bit.
20
That looks in
cent. I
great
mean, for
shape.
any 20 center, man, for 50 cents, I'm
Yes,
buying it.
50
Even if
cents.
it's got
You got
stains
that
on
right.
it. Um, and then, these are Joe Kubert art. So,
Right.
I mean, you can't go wrong. This is a lot nicer shape. These 40, 50 centers.
Wow.
These are a 2-pack, so I did split them. Sorry, they were back to back.
No problem.
Grabbed a couple of the 290s. I don't know. These are 90s books, but
Right.
when they're near
Well, yeah,
mint,
but 50 cents.
yeah,
I
and,
mean,
and
come
they
on.
and they really present. I mean, it's a kind of a really cool covers. I
Wow.
picked up 2 of these I got from me because I had 1 through 4. I didn't have 5 and 6. I'm not sure how high that fist of Khonshu went, but these were all near mint. I did bag and board these, but they were in like a pack. You know this one.
Oh, yeah. Alien Worlds, man. That's
Yeah.
a sweet run. What number is that? 8?
Number 8. Yep.
Wow. That's the last one of the series, I
Do
think.
you have this one?
Uh,
If you don't have it, I'll give it to you because I already have another copy of it. But I
wow,
just thought
sweet.
50
Okay,
cents.
I'll check and
grab it.
see.
Yeah,
I got
check
the
and see
Dave
it.
Stevens, I think it's number 4.
Yeah. 2
I
and
still
4
got to
with
get
Dave
the number
Stevens.
2, I think.
The whole run though is cool.
It is.
I had that whole run. Maybe I'll show it on the next show because all the covers are sweet. And then we picked these up. I found these and I'm like,
Vampy.
Dennis, look these up. So it's a Vampirilla and it has a Dave coupon or a Dave Stevens coupon in it for like
wow.
a free poster. So like you send in proof of purchases for a poster, but these buggers are going for pretty good money.
I'll
And I think
bet.
I got 4 or 5 of them for each of us. They weren't bagged and boarded, but they were in a big pack together. So I would say they're very fine to near mint. So pretty
Right.
excited to have
Run
those.
through those.
So
Show those covers.
and then this one was kind of a
Treasure.
weird book. It's 20 center, but and the back's chipped. Oh no, this one's stained. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Did you get that for 50 cents too?
Yeah, 50 cents. I mean, like you say, it's stained, but guys collect
Yeah,
them.
who cares?
And then this one is chipped, but
But the back cover.
I know you're not a big fan, but it is a Mark Jeweler.
Wow.
I'm like, for 50 cents, I didn't realize that. I thought, oh, it's kind of stiff. Maybe it got wet. No, it was a Mark Jeweler.
No shit.
Yeah.
No kidding.
But these were out of the 50-cent bin. This one was out of a dollar bin, but the higher you get in spawn, lower the print run, more expensive they are so this one, the 76, I pulled a 72, a 103.
Wow.
These were all basically $1.
Dang.
So, and then these were in the half price bin.
Is that
So
Sam
this
Keith or no? That's Greg Capullo. I see his
is-
signature there.
I think so. Yeah. Capullo.
Yeah, that's a nice cover.
This is so these were half off,
Wow.
and so 138, good number. a 142, and I also had a 144, which was 15 as well, but I put it at my booth, put it in the
Okay.
shop. And then I got a nice copy of that Marvel Point One. That was at one shot,
Oh yeah.
$10 for five. Old Aquaman,
Oh
number
yeah. You can't go wrong
54.
with those. 15 center.
Yeah,
Oh, look
$4
at that.
it was
Tell
two.
you what, for a black cover, that's pretty nice.
And then this one was 10, so I got it for five. This is an early one, number 34.
Nice.
And I got one of these Red Riders. Pretty old. This is date.
Yeah, it
It's date
is.
stamped
10
on it.
center.
It's date stamped February 22nd, 1950.
Wow.
But for $4, you know.
Yeah. That's an
And then
example of a book that's, a lot of people will come in the shop say, oh, they think an old book is always worth money. I'm like, no, it's not. But
yeah,
I mean, they
and
should
then
be
this
worth more.
bad. This is at my Barron's. This was a Virgin variant of Punisher #1 from last year, year before, and
Oh,
it's a
really?
Barron's cover, and
Oh,
it was
that's
in. It's
sweet.
in one of the hard shell cases as well. You know,
Wow,
the
that's
top
sweet.
loaders. It's a tough one. It's a hard one though. That was 12 for 6. So then he not only gave me all this, so it all added up to I think like $78 or something with tax
Wow.
or more, and he gave it to me the whole stack for 60.
No kidding.
So he threw a deal on top of it. So I couldn't go wrong, man. I was happy as anything.
Yeah. Well, we
And
do
Dennis
that.
got a
I always
stack, and his
encourage
was like
Steve.
he had a nice stack, and his was only like $20 or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's definitely worth the going out there and digging. He has a ton of books to dig through. A lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Well, the idea of a store like that in a mall, I mean, I know that's
Yeah,
Muskegon malls. That's just wild
I know.
because,
It
I
really
mean,
is.
back in the day when malls were like so expensive. Now you got these shops. And I've been going to this antique place in this mall in Gastonia. It's pretty
Yeah.
similar to that Muskegon mall. It's not
Okay.
super huge, but they got tons of comics in them because nobody's renting these stores, and so people can get.
If they can get them inexpensive enough, it's a nice outlet to have. As
Yeah,
long as you have a back door that you can drive up and load and unload books on it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Most of them are on one story. Some of them are two, but yeah, I feel like it's a good. It's nice if it's almost good for us if the mall is kind of a. I don't want to say dead mall because malls become dead, but it
right.
makes it easier for parking.
That's the way the
You
one in
think back in the day
Gastonia
when
is.
Granville, when the mall opened, you know what I mean? It was like you didn't even want to go there with so many people.
Right.
But like if Granville opened, if they had one in that mall, we'd go to it because you
Oh,
could
all
just
the time,
pull in
definitely.
anywhere.
I think a lot of people would.
Yeah.
I think the shop that I'm helping out at, if he wanted to, I think down the road, I mean, if he could find a place like that Gastonia Mall or that Muskegon Mall,
Yeah.
because the thing about these comic stores nowadays is they're more than comic stores. I mean, you get people all the time
Yeah.
coming in and looking at. He's got record albums, he's got Funko
Right.
Pops, he's got action figures, he's got all this horror stuff. I mean, a lot of people come in that don't have a clue about comics, and they walk back in there and they look at all the comics. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, check it out. Hey, are you going to talk about that weird war on the wall, or are you just going to look at it
Oh,
later?
no, I have a whole stack of Weird Wars that I got, and I just
That looks very
use them that
sweet to me.
display case to just kind of showcase it.
Is that in one of those? What do they call those?
Isn't this the kind of case you got? You picked up?
Yeah, it's
This
like
when I
a
picked up that collection, the X-Men '94 was in it, so I just used it. I just figured I wanted to get a couple of these and just hang Weird Wars down the wall. 'Cause
yeah.
I've got a stack of them. Like, oh, they're right here.
Oh,
I just
boy.
I just like the I just like the old covers. These aren't,
Right.
they just beat up. I know
That's
I had that
okay.
one on before. I
Got
love
some
that
character.
cover. Oh, there's a ghost one too.
Nice.
I love
That
that
black
one.
one looks really nice in that
This one I
display
really
case
like.
thing. Oh, that's a sweet one.
Yeah, that's a sweet cover. That's from when this is more my era. You know what I mean? 30 centers. So,
Yeah. See, though, it's
yeah.
funny because the horror books and the war books, I didn't pay much attention to when I was a kid because, like I said, I had a limited budget, $1 a week allowance, and
Yeah.
I was buying Iron Man and Captain America and Thor and Spidey. So
I think the
Weird
Weird
War
War
and all
Tales
that
is the
stuff.
only one that I collected as a kid, and it was during that Creature Commando era.
Yeah.
Because it's late 70s, and then the only other horror one I read, or we would read, would be Frankenstein's Monster, that
Oh yeah.
the Marvel version. That
Yeah. I didn't
but
read
that
any
was
of them.
that
I mean,
was a
I
pretty
literally passed
short-lived.
over them. and I look back now, and now it's funny because I look back and like those, so those are some of the most sought after books,
Yeah.
that I like to
And
get.
really cool artwork that you really didn't pick up on, you know what I
Right,
mean? I always love
exactly.
Godzilla, don't get me wrong, you know what I mean? But
Hey, speaking
Godzilla
of
was so
Creature
hot.
Commandos, have you watched that show?
No, I haven't yet watched it yet.
I tell you what, if you
Worth
ever
it?
get a blizzard where you're snowed in,
Yeah, well,
it's
that's coming.
it's pretty good. It's only like 6 episodes, and they're like
Okay.
half an hour long, so it's not a long. That's what I like about it. It's not a long watch.
Yeah.
It's like okay. I mean, they're basically about 20 minutes long after you get through all the credits and all that stuff. And I don't know, I just like it. It's got a lot of heart to it. It's not just I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm very uh-oh, we got some GI Joe and some
Well,
Transformers.
I just wanted, you and I got on that subject. I just pulled a couple of them. They're not really the super key ones, but
Right.
we were talking about how low print run.
Oh
And
yeah.
so, GI Joe, if you guys collect any GI Joe over issue 100, and they went to 155, but anything over 100, they're usually $5 to $10 books if they're in any kind of good shape. The last issue of GI Joe, which is 155, right now, I looked up the eBay like sold and for sale. You can't find just for sale if you want to buy one. The
Right.
lowest price is 195 bucks.
Jeez.
That's the last issue.
That's
And then,
crazy.
and yeah, the last sale was like 234, anywhere from 185 to 234 or something like that.
Well,
The
that
issue
Hellblazer run
before
I was
that,
talking about
yeah,
earlier. I mean,
it's
like
crazy.
295 and 300, they're all like everything is $3.
Right.
In the mid 200s or whatever, but you get to 290 or so, they all jump up to like 10 bucks a piece. And it's
Yeah.
because you can't find them.
Because you can't find them because the print run was low and people are
Right.
trying to collect the entire run, which
Basic
is
econ.
pretty. That's what you guys are doing with GI Joe. Now GI Joe went to 155, whereas the Transformers only went to 80. So that last issue the last issue of Transformers 80. I found it's if you were to the lowest price to buy one is like 60 bucks,
Right.
and the sales were like 60 to 80.
Hey, I tell
But
you what, if there's any
still,
econ professors out there, what they probably aren't listening to this, but you could teach a whole freaking course on economics with just using comic books. I
yeah.
swear to God. It's totally supply and demand.
So the one that blew my mind, and I just never realized it, and it was last week. Dennis and I were digging, and I met a guy that was across from us, and we were talking about this very subject, and he's like, "Yeah, kind of like Darkhawk," and I'm like, "Darkhawk," and I laughed,
Dark
and
Hawk.
he's like, "Yeah, the last issues. Now Darkhawk went to 50. I looked it up right now on eBay." To buy the last issue 50, the lowest for sale price is 45 bucks. And
Jeez, that's
sales are
nuts.
like 30 to, and at eBay sold, the sales are like 30 to $65. Even
Oh,
issue 49, the one before that, 15 to 25 bucks.
that's
I think the
crazy.
lowest right now is 18. So there's, even though it was not that long, 4 years it ran 50 issues. I mean, if
Right.
they were running once a month, and here we talk about how 90s books were garbage. You know what I mean? There's not many
Right.
keys in them.
Right.
But in truth, you have these like low print run books that were popular in the 80s, and then in the 90s they weaned out, and then these are the books that I don't want to say
Right.
behind the scenes guys are collecting and you don't really realize it.
Right. Hey, it's funny you mentioned that about the 90s covers, because we always joke about how the 90s had all those foil embossed covers.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting seeing a lot of people coming in that are younger, in their 20s and 30s,
Digging the
and
foil covers.
they've never seen those covers. And then they see
Yeah.
them and they're like, "Wow." And I'm like,
Yep.
"Oh yeah, have at it."
Well,
And they
yeah,
just love them
yeah. And some of
because
them are cool, like those Iron Man. I think they're really cool looking books. I mean, I would put them on my showcase wall.
well, I think people are buying more for covers than they ever have. I mean, well, you've always bought for covers. I mean, when you're a
Oh,
kid,
really? You said you didn't buy for covers, and then you did.
no, you do. I mean, everybody does. I
Buy for
try not
yellow
to.
covers.
I try to
What's with the
buy
yellow?
what I like to read, but
Oh yeah, right.
I'm
Yeah,
just saying that I think even more so today, because like in the 90s, people bought for covers, but they
yeah,
also, but now it's like everything's about the covers, like trading
yeah.
cards.
I feel like that's a key to like even when you like sell at a show. Is a big thing with eye candy. It is.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
I always take a bookshelf with me, and I have, 20 books on the back wall. And sometimes you just have a book that's, you might price a little higher. You don't necessarily want to sell it, but you want to attract people to
Right.
come to your booth. Ooh, he's got a, Gambit
Right.
#1. Ooh, look, there's a,
Right.
I mean, man, if I had an X-Men #1, I'd bring it, but you're going to put a price tag on it that's
Well,
three
yeah.
times the amount. You don't want to really sell it, but I mean,
Well,
well,
yeah. I
some guys
mean,
do.
well, it's like one of the things that I don't want to say it sound overbearing here, but when I first started helping out my friend at this store, he
Oh
was
yeah,
not super knowledgeable about comics. I mean, he knew
right.
a little bit about them, but he didn't. And I'm like, and he would sell stuff in these crappy old bags,
Oh yeah.
yellowed, and I'm like, dude, and I would show him the difference between what it would look like when
Oh,
you put
it's
it just
just
put it in a brand new bag.
amazing,
An unbelievable difference. And it was
just
like
amazing.
such a
Yep,
simple thing.
yep,
And all of a sudden the light bulb went on. He was
right.
like, whoa, I guess so. And people come in and would buy them because
And you can, to me, there's some books, boy, 50 cents, and I mean, you look at in a beat up bag, I would pay 50 cents for it, and you put it in a clean bag of board, you're like, okay, I'd pay $2 for that. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. That's exactly the truth. But anyway, I got one more thing that I want to
Yeah, show
show.
me.
Um, a little while ago, I started buying a series from Image called the One Hand, and then there was Six Fingers. And I,
One,
like a lot of titles, I kind of lost track of it. I didn't keep up with it. I didn't find it on their, it wasn't a huge, big book. So I was like,
yeah.
well, anyway, long story short, I picked up this graphic novel, and it's basically a compilation of these two series, the One Hand and the Six Fingers.
So they tie together, the series tie together then?
Yeah, it's about
Okay.
it's kind of I don't know, what do you call it? Film noir or whatever.
Film
Um,
noir.
yeah,
Yep.
and it's the detective story. Well, the six, what is it? The six hand or the one hand is like told from the detective's point of view, and the
Oh,
six
okay.
fingers because it's something about this. He leaves a handprint behind. I read the first issue and I liked it. Like I said, I
Yeah.
just didn't keep up with it. And anyway, long story short, they combined them into this graphic novel, and it's
Oh,
kind of
neat.
collected the way you're supposed to read them. It's like you read #1 of the um, Red Hand or whatever it's called, and then
Okay.
read
So
the
you
Six
read the
Fingers
detective's like his perspective and then
right,
back and forth.
right. And you ever heard of that writer Ram V or whatever his name is? He's kind of big right now. Ram
I think,
V and Dan Waters are the
oh, I've heard
writers.
Dan Waters. Yeah.
Yeah, they're both
Okay.
really good writers. I mean, I like what Ram V is doing with New Gods right now in DC. Anyway,
Oh,
so I'm gonna dig into that. We
yeah.
get a snowstorm down here. Uh, we already had our big snowstorm about a week ago, and there was a dusting on the ground, and people were like
Cars going everywhere.
raiding the shelves at
Yeah.
the grocery store
Yeah.
for the apocalypse and that kind of stuff. I mean, I get it. It's South Carolina; they don't get much like that. They don't have any equipment to
Well, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
makes
But it's
sense.
it's just funny as a northerner coming down here and watching people freak out with a little bit of
Yeah.
snow. I was like, ooh, So anyway, we'll get to that, and other than that, I've been I went to the shop the other day and picked up some new stuff. My normal Immortal Thor and um
Yeah, I've been weaning out this stuff. I'm heavy into the Star Wars, but they're starting to back off a
oh
little
yeah.
bit, and they're kind of flooding it out a little bit. So we'll
Well,
see.
we've talked about it before. I mean, the two titles that you are really into or were into. I mean, talk about flooding the market:
Yeah,
Spider-Man and Star Wars. Oh
Spider-Man
my
and Star
Lord.
Wars. Yeah,
You need to be
yeah,
Elon Musk to keep up with that
yeah. No, I backed off
every
quite a
month.
bit, and well, really, I've gotten more into the stuff like you. That I love that Frankenstein
Yeah,
series,
that was a good series.
and the Mummies. The Mummy's coming out next.
Yeah.
Yep. So I put that on my pull list. So I'm really excited to. Hopefully that'll be as good. I didn't get into the other two that you told me not to, the Dracula and the. You
Creature
said
from Black Dracula was good. Creature from Black Lagoon I thought was the weakest by
it was
far
the
because
weakest. Yeah.
part of it
Oh, maybe.
was they tried to spin a new narrative instead of just kind of sticking with the story.
Gotcha. They went
Like
too far off
Dracula and
the.
Frankenstein, they stuck with the original story. Speaking of which, I saw Nosferatu at the theater.
Oh, I'm
I
gonna
was
go
the only
see
one in the
that.
theater. I was the only
What
one, of
is?
course, in the theater.
Yeah.
No spoilers here. There was only one thing about the movie I didn't like. I did really like the atmosphere.
Okay.
It was a good period piece, you know, set in the
Yeah, my
1800s.
son went to see it too. Yeah, he said it was really good.
It was good. If you like Robert Eggers, you like The Witch and Northman
Yep.
and The Lighthouse and those kind of
Yeah,
movies.
Norseman. Yeah, it's great.
It's not, but if you're just going and expecting to see like vampires
Oh,
sucking blood all
yeah,
the
yeah,
time,
no.
yeah, it's probably not your cup of tea, you know. So, all right, I got the
All right,
little
man.
message here that we're just about out of time.
Yeah, good
So,
show. We got to keep doing them. We'll keep
March
them up.
1st is the big show at Lang's. I'm looking forward to coming up for that.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully you can get up and we'll get this. We'll wait in line. Yeah, see what the crowd's like, and
Hmm.
um,
All right, well, I've been kind of getting itchy doing some digging lately. I haven't done much actual real digging.
that's kind of why Don. That's kind of why Dennis and I went out there because just needed to, what I mean, get a dig in,
Right,
and it was the only Sunday's about the only day that I can do that right now. So, and Lang's is open on Sundays, so we
right.
were able to shoot out there, but
Yeah, I'm
like to
getting
get
the
back
itch.
out to Comic Signal and do a dig there too, because Don has so many boxes. I get in for my pulls, but he's got so
Right.
many boxes, and
Yeah, when I get up there, I hope I can see Don too. It'd be nice to go in the
yeah,
shop and say hi to him. Because when I go back up north, there's always so many people to see. It's like, oh, damn, get
yeah.
them all in and all that stuff. But all right,
Okay.
man. Well,
All
good
right.
show, and we'll catch you in a couple weeks. I'll probably talk to you before
Yeah.
then, but I mean, as far as being on here, we'll see you in a couple weeks, and keep on digging.
Yeah.
All
Happy
of you
digging,
out there
folks.
too.
Happy digging.
You bet. Bye bye. And let's see here. There we go.